It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
You're not Ric Flair!
And he's not Ric Flair.
He's not Ric Flair.
It's John Combest. Okay, for those of you listening on a podcast or on our YouTube channel, I'm referencing a previous segment. If you want to go back to this would be, we're in right now, this is segment C, block C of October 15th. For this to make any sense, you're going to have to go back to listen to block B of the October 15th podcast. We're talking about this guy whose name is, he claims his name is, we determined it was Qwo-Li or whatever.
Qwo-Li. Let's call him Qwo-Li. Like
okay.
Status Quo and then Bruce Lee.
Okay. Here we go again. Here we talk about Taft director. We talked about that already. Constantino also critiqued Driskill's use of Taslagi. There's all sorts of things I never heard before. Have you ever heard of T-S-A-L-A-G-I? Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, it's pronounced Teslagi, and it's when you put a martial arts uniform on a Tesla.
Only John. Anyway, he uses T-S-A-L-A-G-I in his poetry, saying, although he uses the Cherokee language, he's butchering it. It's not correct. So in other words, he's not even speaking correct Cherokee, okay? While Driskill was initially silent on the claims, he has now quietly stepped down from his position at Oregon State University after initially being slated to return to his teaching post this fall. In a phone call to the Women's Gender and Sexuality Department, a department administrative assistant confirmed Driskill is no longer working there as of early September, but declined to comment on any further. Oregon State University has not made any further statements regarding the allegations against Driskill, nor has it clarified whether any internal action was taken in response to the investigation. Driskill's departure from OSU in September 2024, several months after the release of Taft's findings, has raised further questions. The circumstances of his sudden exit remain unclear, as neither OSU nor Driskill has confirmed whether he resigned or was terminated. In addition to the allegations of falsifying his identity, Driskill has also been accused of mistreating students of color in the WGSS program. Now, hold on a minute. If he's an Indian, what's he doing messing with the other people of color, right? Come on.
No, but I think that he has a right, though, because they're on his stolen land. Like, if you're black, you're on stolen land,
okay.
Right? Like, you're on Native American land, and if you're white, you're on stolen land. I don't know. I agree with them. I agree with Qwo-Li here.
Several students have come forward with complaints describing a hostile classroom environment and alleging that Driskill was dismissive of their requests for accommodations. According to the Daily Barometer, one PhD candidate, Yola Gomez, said he was warned by fellow students on her first day at OSU about Driskill behavior towards students of color. Another student, Ariana Berenice, shared that Driskill had denied her a Zoom accommodation that had been granted to other students. In response to these allegations, the students wrote an open letter in the summer of 2023 raising concerns about Driskill's behavior and asking OSU to take action. Despite the letter, the findings of Taft, and growing complaints, students reported that no significant changes were made, and Driskill continued to teach until his departure in September. Driskill filed a complaint with Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries, Qwo-Li, before his departure, alleging that he experienced racism while working at the university. Racism. Okay, he's a white dude. Turns out he's a white dude, and he's being, he's racist. Okay, it remains unclear if the complaint has been withdrawn or is still under investigation, as neither Driskill nor OSU has commented further on the matter. Okay, once again, I go back to my premise that if you can identify as, what's the crazy thing? Remember when we talked about this before? Shelly and I used to kid about this all the time, that in schools matter of fact, we had this one story of this attorney for one organization that fought these schools all the time because the complaint was that certain students would show up for school and they would say, I'm not a human, I'm a dog. And
oh, yeah, I forgot the term for that, but you're right.
Remember? And to the point where it was determined by this attorney sued the school districts, and the determination was that as long as the student didn't disrupt the classroom, they could lay on the floor and pretend they were a dog. They didn't have to sit in their chair and their desk and stuff like that. But if
the furries, it's like the whole furry thing.
Well, that's a different thing, okay? But if they started to bark, then they were disrupting the classroom, and then they could be, I'm sorry, Rover, but you can't bark while the teacher's talking. So once again, I ask my question to John. If I can wake up tomorrow and become a woman, if I can wake up tomorrow and become whatever, why can't I wake up tomorrow and be an Asian guy? Why can't I be like what's his name, the Dodger guy, Osani, Chachani, Bapani,
Otani, yeah.
Otani. Okay, why can't I be a black guy? Why can't I be why couldn't I be Kamala's mother, who was Indian? Why couldn't I be an Indian? Or why couldn't not American Indian, but an Indian from India? Why can't I do that?
You could just make up a tale. I think the Asian thing is easy because if anybody listened to our show from yesterday, October 14th, neither you nor I can do math. We can't add up simple marijuana taxes.
I'm still working on that.
18.9%. So you're clearly not Asian, Brad. We know that.
Do you know what's interesting? Here we're delving into a different area. I did research on that yesterday. I cannot find anywhere that gives a clear delineation of the tax structure for marijuana. I can't find it anywhere.
So you know what that means, Brad? That means that you need to hop in the Bradmobile. You need to go to St. Anne. You need to finally buy your weed from a reputable place instead of Tyrone and Rufus R. Jones on the street corner. You need to go into a dispensary. You need to pay, and then you need to ask the hippie behind the counter, your bud tender, and be like, bro, what's 8.79% for, bro? My math doesn't add up.
Okay.
I'm sure a bud tender would be able to explain municipal taxes.
You're kidding when you say this, but I am almost tempted to, and I say up front, I don't smoke marijuana. I just don't. Matter of fact, I don't smoke anything. I'm an anti-smoking kind of guy. But I'm tempted to go buy some stuff. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk into a marijuana place and say, when I buy this, will you give me an itemized receipt as to where all the taxes go? Because a lot of times you look at that, like you pay X amount, and, okay, give me $10 worth of that stuff over there if I can buy that little amount. And I want to see the stupid receipt which says, sales tax, 9.2%, state Missouri marijuana tax 6%, St. Louis County tax 3%, St. Anne tax 3%. I want to see that in writing because I have yet to find it anywhere. I can find all sorts of crazy stuff that just gives talks about this. And when I started researching it, I found, and we go back in history, you and I could talk about this. I found all sorts of articles that all these munis and all these counties, because the crazy thing was it had to be on the ballot. Remember that?
Yes, I know.
The municipal elections, it had to be, because the way the constitutional amendment was drafted is it wasn't automatic that the munis and the counties got their tax revenue. You had to put it on the ballot in whatever municipality or other county, and it had to be approved by the voters, that the voters could say, yes, we agree that St. Anne or St. Charles City or Wentzville should be able to get 3% of the money. And I think what you were referring to last week in the Missouri Independent article was, and what I found out, I don't think it gives a maximum number. I think what they're saying is the municipal share is 3% or whatever the muni decides. So
that's great.
I think that's what the article was about. Does that make any sense now?
Because that would be the only thing to bridge that delta between the numbers that we came up with using 3,
right,
and then that total number. I think what you should do, instead of actually going out and buying the cannabis, maybe hang out in the parking lot with a pair of shades on, maybe look real, maybe like a security garb on, Brad. It's Halloween. You could probably get one pretty cheap at Goodwill, and then just ask if you could see receipts. People would take well to that. And then if you tell them you're German and you want to see their paperwork, you get an even better response, Brad.
Okay. I'm going to make a quick phone call here. And once again, we're the last 5 minutes of the show or so. Brad is on the rugged edge of doing something here. And I don't know how this is going to work. Okay, I'm going to make a phone call here real quick, and we'll see if this guy answers. And he called me earlier this morning. This is Caleb Hunter, one of our advertisers.
Hello?
Mr. Hunter, this is Brad. You're on the air on.
Oh boy, don't get me in trouble.
Okay, well, do you not want to go on the air? Do you want to stop?
No,
right?
I'll go on, whatever.
Okay. Can I explain I know why you're calling me this morning. You called me this morning, and I'm on the air till 8 o'clock, and your call came in a little bit after 7 o'clock, okay? Can I explain what's going on with this?
Sure.
You have a brand new truck that you bought, correct?
Correct.
And which dealership did you buy it from?
I bought it from an out-of-state dealer because they're the only ones that had this particular truck, so I didn't have a choice.
Okay. And it's a brand new truck, correct?
Brand new, yep.
And the radio doesn't work, right?
Correct.
And it's a Ford, right?
Correct.
And you've had it to numerous Ford dealerships, and guess what? Your radio still doesn't work, correct?
Correct.
So, in your post this morning, you said, and you sort of hurt my feelings a little bit, Caleb, because of the fact that you said you were trying to buy a TV ad or a billboard, but none of the TV stations or the billboards would sell you advertising time because all the Ford dealers advertise with them, right?
Correct.
Guess what, Caleb? I got no Ford dealerships on the air. So I don't care. So this is my solicitation to you. I will be more than happy to run your ads detailing your problems with your Ford truck. Matter of fact, if you want, I can come record you today and we can get your ad on tomorrow.
Well, let me see what time I have today, maybe this afternoon.
Dude.
But, I think I'm waiting for a phone call back from Ford's registered lobbyist. I'm going every route possible on this at this point.
So you've already been, according to your Facebook page, you've talked to dealer reps from Ford, and you've talked to the dealerships and all that kind of stuff, and you've had it in several dealerships, correct?
I've had it in 2 different dealerships. I've been on with the Ford customer service. I've had to file 2 different claims because Ford lost the first claim. I have no idea how it's even possible. So I had to go through the whole claims process a second time, and then it took them a month. So then I give them the information. So then over the last month, I've given them all the information they asked for. They lost the information, so I had to give it to them again. And now they don't even call me back when I'm calling them every day, 10 times a day, because I need some answers.
Now, I thought it was interesting in your post on Facebook. You said that somebody, I think people said, why don't you just lemon law this thing? And you said, give it your words why you can't lemon law this truck.
Ford customer service told me yesterday that commercially owned vehicles do not fall under the lemon law.
And since you are Extreme Electrical, this is one of your company trucks, so therefore it's a commercial vehicle. So that excludes it from the lemon law because that's consumers.
Correct.
That's
and they said your only option is to get it fixed. And I'm like, well, you can't fix it.
well, Caleb, being the kind of guy that I'm always trying to, reach out a helping hand, dude. So if you want to run some ads in the station, I'll give you a hell of a rate. And once again, Snack, here's the interesting thing. You know what's very sad? What's happened in our industry in the radio business? There are like no car dealers buying radio ads anymore. They're all on television and are all buying billboards, but they're mostly buying digital stuff because the manufacturers tell them, don't buy radio anymore, buy digital. So that's why and matter of fact, right now at this moment, I have no car dealers on the radio station at all. 0, zip, none. I used to have 5 or 10 at a time. I got none.
To be perfectly honest with you, the car dealers probably want the lemon law to apply to commercial as well, so they don't have to deal with the warranties like this.
Really?
So, yeah, because the car dealers, they're like, oh, you've been here 3 times? It's a lemon. Take it back. Ford has to take it back. So they don't have to deal with it.
Well,
because they don't get paid. Their pay on these warranty repairs are slim to none.
Yeah, they're essentially. I've been told by some of the dealers they're lucky if they break even on it. Right? Isn't that pretty much what it is?
So they don't have any incentive whatsoever to get my truck fixed.
Right, because Ford's telling them the labor rate is X, which is essentially is sometimes
their break even cost if they're lucky.
Right. Sometimes it's less than what it costs for them to have the mechanic take a look at it. So they're actually losing money on that. Okay, Caleb, check your schedule. I'd be more than happy to come out and record you, dude.
Cool.
I mean, you got a problem? I'm the problem solver, Caleb.
You'll solve it.
yeah. There you go. You got to. If Shelly were here, she could go into the whole. You got a problem? I'll solve it. She could do the whole ice baby thing, right? Okay.
Love it.
Have a good day, Caleb.
Thanks.
Bye. He's a great guy, John.
Yeah, he was on. I heard his podcast that he did with you, and you cite him a lot in terms of regulatory stuff and the job market. So explain again, real quick, Brad. he got, and the radio didn't work? Or explain again what happened?
It's a brand new Ford truck, and I'm a Ford guy. I love Ford trucks, okay?
Yeah.
It's a brand new Ford truck, and the radio doesn't work, and he can't get it fixed. I mean, he's had it in the dealerships, and they go, oh, we don't know. They can't get it to work. I mean, it's, and once again, here we go again. I've railed about this before. And if you read his Facebook post, it's pretty interesting because there's guys on there saying, I know exactly what's wrong. And this is like, what you have to do is they talk about you have to, and believe it or not, I fixed a couple of my cars this way. You have some weird idiosyncrasy that happens in the car. You disconnect the battery and you turn on everything in the car to essentially, because there's a little known fact that there's a secondary battery in the car which runs the airbags. Believe it or not, that's a little hint, little secret process there. You turn on everything in the car, even though the battery's disconnected. You turn the radio on, you turn the lights on, the whole bit like that, and it completely depletes. Obviously the battery's not connected. It disconnects everything. It depletes all the electrical energy that's in the car. You just let it sit there for like 10 or 15 minutes. You hook the battery back up, and everything works. It's like rebooting your computer. It's like you can.
Wow, that's incredible.
You can do the Control-Alt-Delete thing, or in extreme cases, you have to literally turn the computer off. Let it sit there. How many times? If I had $1 for every time anybody tells me, well, I was on customer service, I'm on the sport, and they told me turn it off and leave it off for 10 seconds and turn it back on, and this is the problem he's had. He can't get it fixed. And it's crazy because of the fact that and I didn't realize this about the lemon law not pertaining to commercial vehicles. If it were lemon law, if it were his own personal truck, he could lemon law the thing and they'd have to take it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb should have mentioned the name of the out-of-state dealership that he got it from. I mean, that might help accelerate or expedite the process if somebody put a little pressure on it.
Well,
right?
but see, the way it works is, even if you, let's say you lived in Chicago and you bought a new truck in Chicago and you moved to St. Louis, the way it's supposed to work is that that's the whole idea behind the Ford dealer network, is that you don't have to take it back to your purchasing dealership. You can take it to any local Ford authorized dealer.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And,
sure.
and they're supposed to take care of it, because that's the way it's supposed to work. They can't say, well, you bought that in Chicago, you have to take it back to get it fixed. It's not that kind of a deal.
You'd love to stay in chat, Brad, but you got to press your own Control-Alt-Delete buttons, because God knows you need a factory reset.
I need more than a factory reset. John, great show this morning. We talked about all sorts of crazy crap, and you know what?
It was fantastic. I'm gonna go switch my race. I'm ggonna go cash in my Senegalese chips for some reparations, Brad.
And you can do that because you do have that in your DNA,
damn
right?
Right, I'm 1%, baby.
1%. You're one of the 1%ers. Isn't Kamala Harris always talking about you, the 1%? Oh no,
she's talking about me. I'm one of the 1%ers, but I'm probably a little more black than she is.
I didn't say that. John Cannabis said
we'll
that.
See you on Shelley's favorite day, Hump Day, Brad.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Cannabis' book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?